There we go.
Hello, everyone. Boone here. I am here with my friend and one of our lovely moderators here on Boone Builds. It's Dave Morgan. How you doing, Dave?
Doing well. How about you?
Awesome. Awesome. I can't wait to talk to you. We're going to engage everybody in the chat here in just a moment. I can't wait for you to see some of the cool stuff that Dave has been building. It's right here on AFOL Spotlight Live.
Let's go! Climb aboard this proverbial Winnebago. We're talking about the awesome fans of Lego. So build your mock and shift it into drive. It's time for AFOL Spotlight Live.
So, Dave, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. I've been so excited. It's interesting to be on the other side of the camera, as it were, for a change.
Right, Dave, if you all haven't been aware, now if you've been here for any number of live streams on Boone Builds, you should recognize the name Dave Morgan because he is almost always in the live chat moderating. And Dave, you have seen every episode of AFOL Spotlight live, right?
For as I can remember. Yep, I actually put it in my calendar and plan around it.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for watching all the time. Thank you for helping the chat remain a safe and fun place for people to be. And speaking of the live chat, we'll dive in there. Richard, Legomatic, Gabe, Lego All Around, Lori Bird, Aqua Mike, Fallen Tree 23, Molly Makes Stuff. Hey, Molly Makes Stuff Up. I like that. Molly, did you change the name of your YouTube channel recently, or do you have a second one? What was it before? Wasn't it Molly? Has it always been Molly Makes Stuff Up? Danga VR 27. Hey, thank you all so much for being here. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Dave has some cool stuff in his studio and some awesome photographs to show us. But Dave, before we dive into show and tell, what is life like for you right now? How are things going?
Overall, it's not too bad. I have to keep telling myself I have a job, and fortunately, that job allows me to work from home. So I actually do get into the office maybe once or twice a week, but there's like 2 other people there. So it is a little bit crazy with all the lockdown syndrome, but I've been doing a lot of video chats with a lot of my Lego buddies to help keep that at bay.
Oh, good, good.
How about for you?
You know, things are good. We have we've gotten out of town here. We are up at I guess you could call it kind of a family vacation house, and you can see part of my view over there. This is the reflection in the window, but you can see this is the Hood Canal and the Olympic Mountains over there. And if you go this way, you can see. But the best view is right in front of me here. And I've had to block it off with a sheet because the light is just so bright right now. And I'm doing this out on the deck. I'm outside, but I'm under a cover. But I do it out here because it is a spot where I can run a hard line for internet out to my computer here. And I'm not like sitting in the common space where everybody else is hanging out. So this is kind of the spot. I think when I had Richard and Flynn on, I was sitting in this very spot, and it was very cloudy then, so I didn't need this sheet. But now the weather is very sunny. But we're having a good time. You know, my daughters have been doing pretty okay during quarantine, and they're fixing to get ready to go back to school, but it's all going to be online. So yeah, it's crazy. But you know, I feel like we're all sort of taking the new way the world works right now as it comes, and that's how it's going. So.
Yeah, I saw the scavenger hunt that you did for Georgie the other day. I thought that was fantastic. I hope the girls appreciate what an awesome dad they have. Oh,
thank you. Yeah, actually, Danny, my wife, wrote all of the clues.
Oh, she did. Those were great.
Yeah. She we do those kinds of things. We like to do those kinds of things for our kids, around Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that. And I think she maybe got that kind of stuff from her folks did those kinds of things for her and her sisters when they were little. And so and her dad is a kind of a silly poet, so it seems like every time there's a birthday card to write in, or every time there's a scavenger hunt with clues, my wife and I are always kind of coming up with these silly little rhymes for those kinds of things. But anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Jordy was really excited about some of the minifigs. It was awesome to see that too.
Yeah. I'm very excited. She is definitely the Harry Potter lover in our house, and there's kind of some new exciting Harry Potter things coming from Lego. So it'll be fun to watch. I hope to have her a little bit more. I don't really want to like make her be the star of my channel, but I look forward to including her as often as seems appropriate. So, Dave, one of the very first things I typically ask and it's funny, I'll just tell everybody. It's like when I look at the camera, it's like y'all out there know I'm actually talking to you. We have a call. We have a test call usually on Wednesdays with my guests for Thursday, and we talk about how the show goes, what the agenda is, and Dave, everything I said to Dave, he was like, yeah, because he's seen every episode of AFOL Spotlight, so he knew what I was going to say before he even got there. So Dave, what can you tell us about how you got connected with the Lego fan community?
So this has been it's been interesting. I think I did do Lego as a kid a little bit. I don't really remember it. That was 50 plus years ago, but my brother did it, and that was back in the Samsonite era, and he actually submitted a build to a challenge, and he was 4th in the country.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I did it, but I don't remember it. So I really count my excursion into Lego starting in June of 2018. And similar to Perry, when I bought the 2017 UCS Millennium Falcon. Yeah, a friend of mine that I've known for a long time bought that and brought it into work, and I had no idea that was a thing, and I had to go buy it. And yeah, so that's what got me in. A few months after that, I found out about the lug. And a side note, I want to echo what a lot of your other guests have said. Anybody out there, if you're fortunate enough to have a lug in your area and you haven't joined, I highly recommend that you do. It's an amazing, at least for our lug anyway, it's an amazing resource. Lots of great people, super supportive, friendly, helpful. So then I started going to every lug meeting, and I vaguely remember Grant, Grant. He's the one who keeps track of going to the lug meetings, and he had told me at one point when they did the yearly tally that I was the only one that had attended every lug meeting.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of a little addicted to Lego, you could say.
And you've been, let's see, have you been to all of the virtual lug meetings?
Yes.
Because when do you think was our last meeting before Bricks Cascade? Probably February?
Yeah.
In person. So our last in-person lug meeting was in February, and they've been virtual every month since then.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your experience. I got to admit, I spend so much of my week doing these kinds of things that I'm a little bit ashamed I haven't attended a single virtual port lug meeting. So can you sell me on it, and can you tell everybody else just a little bit about like what has the Lego user group experience been like since they've gone virtual?
It was a little rocky the first time because we were using a free Zoom account, and we knew ahead of time that this was the issue, but there was a limit of 45 minutes to the conference on a free account. So every 45 minutes we had to stop and restart it again, and everybody had to join. And we had one issue where about half the people, including me, were unable to rejoin for whatever reason. But after that, we've had generous people who have volunteered to use their work accounts to host the meeting for us.
Okay.
And the way I will sell it is I so much enjoy the lug meetings that not having it would be a downer. And I think it's worked really well. We've had as many as like 40 or 45 people in a virtual meeting.
Wow. Yeah.
And Drew Quinn, who was our chairperson, would just kind of go through the, welcome everyone to the meeting and then go through the list and have each person kind of say what they're working on and do a tour of their place if they wanted to. And then we would go around it. Yeah. So it worked really well.
That's cool. You said, do we have a new chairperson?
Not yet.
Okay. So there's going to be a new chairperson. I would know these things if I came. If I came to it. Listen, y'all, it's super cool. And I love going to lug meetings. I just haven't been there since we've gone virtual. Let's take a moment. I just want to say hi to Moto. Moto, thank you for being in the live chat there. We've got Perry, another Moto and Perry, our other lovely moderators. And then let's see, Gabe is here. I think I already said Gabe's name. We've got some other people. Jeff McElwee is in the house tonight.
He's always here.
King Clanka is here. Tyler Dimmick says, how are you doing? Also, did you check out Viking Bricks? Tyler, I am doing great. And I know that I need to put Viking Bricks on my radar, and I haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but I will. Certainly will. All right.
Corey Kinnick's in the chat.
Corey Kinnick. Speaking of Portlug, Corey Kinnick, we've got Rick Brickham is here. Mo is here. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. Okay, Dave, what do you say we dive into a little bit of show and tell? You got some stuff there for us?
I wanted to cover a couple of other little things first about my journey into Lego.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. So after going to the lug for a while, I found out about Bricks Cascade, and I went there for the first time last year. I went to the convention, but I didn't have anything to present, and that's where I made. And by the way, one of the other reasons to go to the lug is I've made so many great friends. You, Perry, James Ritzman, Ben, and lots of other people. But at Bricks Cascade, it was even more amazing. And I didn't know, what I was getting into, and I hadn't really done mocks yet, so I just went to the convention. But then right after that, we'll get into this in a little bit. Right after the convention, things kind of snowballed, and I started going down the mock path full steam ahead. And I
remember right after I met you, we ran into each other at the Pick-a-Brick wall at the Lego store at Washington Square. And what do you think you might have been picking for at that point in time?
Oh my goodness. That's a good. I was initially just kind of. That's the other thing that was funny was when I first started. I was going to the Pick-a-Brick wall literally every week, sometimes twice a week. I'm only 10 minutes from the Lego store, so I was buying a lot of stuff. But initially, I'm so regretting this because they had 2x2 light bluish gray tiles on the wall right after I became an AFOL, and I bought a half a cup. That'll be plenty. And I've since needed thousands of them, and they've never had them on the wall again.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Okay. So take us a little bit further down that journey. You talked a little bit about the convention. Did you want to say more about the convention?
No, other than, like I said, the mock thing was a whirlwind, and I ended up bringing 14 mocks to Bricks Cascade 2020, the first time I displayed.
Amazing. So you came in 19 as just a visitor?
Well, I went to the full convention, but I didn't display anything.
Okay. Yeah. I'd actually, I would recommend to anyone to go to the full convention, even if you don't have anything to display.
Yep.
Now, I do know that some people out there encourage people not to try to display their first convention. And I don't necessarily believe that that's necessary. But I do think that sort of a flip side of that is if you are interested in going to the convention, do not let the fact that you might not have something to display prevent you from going to the convention, because you're going to go and you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to meet, other fans of Lego. You're going to have these epiphanies of like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And you're going to get all this inspiration, and then you'll come back the next year. And like Dave said, the first time he displayed, you had 14 models.
And I think what you just said is the reason that I went. I think Perry and James and a few other people said that, because I was hesitating. Well, maybe I'll just go to the public part. And they were saying, no, you're going to the full thing. And I'm so glad I did. Yeah.
Yep. I think I went to public for, I don't know how many years I went to public before I came to the full convention. And it's a completely different experience. So
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and hit up the first slide.
Woohoo! I'm going to play it is show and tell. It's time for show and tell. Here it is. Show and tell. Show and tell. with Dave Morgan. Morgan. All right, there you go.
So there's an interesting story behind this. This is the first mock I ever did. And I think it ended up something like 14,000 pieces. But here's the interesting story. I have another friend that I'm a YouTuber, Bevan's Bricks. Some people may know who he is. I struck up an acquaintance with him shortly after Bricks Cascade last year, and we've actually become friends now. But I made this mock, and I sent him a photo of it. And I thought, this is really cool. And he said, I like everything about it, except the windows. And in my head, I was going, but that's the best part. And then I stepped back and then I said, okay, Daryl, well, what don't you like about the windows? And he said, well, they're all flat. And then at the same time, I've gotten a lot better at this now. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Yeah. I also realized that the aspect ratio was not correct. It was too tall and not wide enough. So I tore it down completely and rebuilt it to this.
Oh my goodness.
And I used some artistic license and changed the first floor to use sand green bricks, even though the real building wasn't that way. There was some expensive bricks in there because I needed a bunch of 1x3s, and I didn't want to use 1x2s and 1x1s.
Let's talk a little bit about, can you toggle back and forth just a little bit? I want to see the original one more time. Okay. And now this. All right, good. Thank you. I've got it in my head. I just wanted to see the contrast between the first draft and the second draft. Yeah,
so I added all these detailing around the windows, and I think I got this idea from a Lego set. I don't remember which one, but I tried to make every floor a different treatment. And I think it came out pretty good. You can also see I did lighting in here for the first time. It was very basic.
The lighting makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah. And then I have one more photo of this in full display mode. Our local lug participates in a charitable event called Providence Festival of Trees every year. And Perry and a few others convinced me that I should put this on display there. So this is what it ended up looking like.
Oh, awesome.
And my friend Rob, you can't really see it very well, but the gift with purchase Christmas tree from last year is in there. Rob built a platform. He put that in there. He built a little ladder with a minifig going up and putting ornaments on it. And that had the full lighting finish. And then these trees here were from Grant, who's another one of our lug members.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what is, remind me what this building is?
This is a hotel in Salzburg, Austria. I guess it's not a hotel now. It's like a meeting space, Schloss Leopoldskron. But it used to be a hotel, and it actually has a tie to Sound of Music, because parts of Sound of Music were either filmed there or they were supposed to be filmed there, and some of them were filmed right next door. But like, if you've seen the movie, when the kids and Maria are out in the water in the boat, and that's right in front of this place. That's right here.
Dave, will you zoom in just a little bit more on that again? I think this is really beautiful. And if you can, just like, how close can you get it to like framing the building in that square that you're showing me as big as possible? Yeah, right there. That's what I want. Print screen. Okay, cool. I'm going to turn that into a little Instagram post to share with with my followers there real quick. Okay, and while I mention that, Dave is showing us some pictures from Flickr. And I've put up Dave's Flickr link there. So take a moment to jot that down or type it into another web browser so that you can check out Dave's photos at your leisure. All right, Dave, it's up to you, man.
Okay, a couple others that were based on real buildings. This is something I saw in a TV show. I don't remember which one in the background. It turned out to be, and as a side note for the techies out there in the audience, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know where this was. But Google has an image search mode where you can take an image and drop it in, and it will see if it will find it. And it found it for me. And it's in Kansas City. And you were asking me about what was I picking on the wall at the time. I already had this design in mind, and I was going to use dark red masonry bricks. And it so happened that right as I started the design, those showed up on the pick brick wall at the store. And there are almost 1,700 of them in this build. So I bought quite a few cups over like 4 weeks.
That's cool.
And then one more. Oh, yeah, hold on here for a second because I can see you looking at it. While I was doing research for this building, getting more photos and reference shots, I found an artist's conception drawing of another building, which I don't know if it ever actually got built, that was intended to be a neighbor of this. And that's, oh wait, oops, this is in lighting mode. This is the first one where I actually
nice.
built an interior too. You can't really see it very well, but each of the 4 sides, well, 3 of the sides has an interior. There's like a copy center and a little workout place. And one of the sides has this space for rent printed on the windows.
Nice, nice.
Oops. And anyway, this building, I originally built it without the Christmas treatment. This was the version again for Providence Festival of Trees. But this is the other building I saw next to it. And this became I don't know what it was supposed to be, but for me, it was a library. It has a full interior.
That's great.
Yeah. And I ended up seeing somebody else using these little guys for Christmas lights. Can I get closer? No, that's not. And I thought that worked really well. So I think those are bionicle eyes. Is what they're called.
Let me see. Oh, those
little
ones
color
up,
pieces.
Yeah, you know, those are like those old. They're like the same shape as the old lenses that went on, like the light and sound stuff from the late 80s and early 90s. They're like the exact same shape as that, but they've got a bar coming out of the bottom, right?
Right.
And so you've turned them upside down and you stick the bar up into.
Yeah, what I used was a 1x1 round plate with a hole in the top.
Yeah, yeah. So those, I don't know what they call them, but they use them in all kinds of, you know, they use them in Technic sets and city sets to represent, you know, a lot of times like the lights on emergency vehicles and you know, other little weird round light fixtures.
And
but,
I have to say something. The first hotel I showed you was torn down because I needed the space and the parts. But Perry just made a comment. He said the library is my favorite Dave M build so far, and this one is still together because of Perry. I was going to tear it apart. And he said, no, you should keep it at least for one more show.
Yeah, yeah. And now who knows when one more show is going to be?
Yeah, that's okay.
Do you ever do the train shows, Dave? Or
I would like to, but I think they only happen like once a year around here, and I keep missing them.
Okay. That's beautiful, Dave. I think that building is really wonderful.
And then again, I did full lighting in this one. This one gives you a little bit better. So there's bookshelves in there. There's like 6 rows of bookshelves. And this was before I had it completely finished. So all the floor ended up being tiled. And I used, I didn't do that there. I used a technique that I saw somebody at the Lego store do. Do I have that? Let me go back to the other one for a minute. Yeah. So I like I use these 4x3 window pieces for glass railings.
Yeah.
I thought that was
that's cool. Yeah, that is
a little bit fiddly there. Basically what you use is the base of an antenna piece, gear shifter.
Yeah.
You stuff them into there. So it's a little fiddly because they're not quite stable, but it works.
Oh, it's cool. And it's a great look.
And do I have one more?
There's actually a lot of decks up here in this neighborhood that have that sort of just like glass, clean, you know, sort of like glass only kind of railings, because nobody wants to obscure their view, right, with like wood or a block wall. But go on.
Right.
Sorry.
And I know that's fine. I know that, you know, one of the questions that often gets asked is, what's your favorite Lego piece? And I was thinking about that if somebody asked me that. I don't know if I have a particular piece, but I like doing anything with large expanses of glass. So I like, for example, the 1x2x5 clear pieces and the 1x6x5 clear panels. And then there's a cool window that I have in a build I'll show later that I stumbled across that became kind of a seed piece. It's a 1x4x3, but it's a sloped window, so it makes a great skylight.
Okay, yeah.
So so that's why I like using those 4x3 for railings, because it's just more glass. And that was the look of. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't know if you noticed. That was a pain to do with those because those are all one individual plate layers.
Yeah.
And there's like 21 layers there.
I did some similar stuff in the lobby of my Arby's. But of course, those were like 3 bricks tall, not, you know, you've got that, 6 bricks tall or 5 bricks tall. And so putting in all those plate layers. Yeah. I don't envy
Moto
putting that together.
Thanks for the super chat, Moto. Moto just did a $5 super chat.
Hey, let's show it. Moto says $5. Keep the mock intact fund. Okay, so Moto is voting to keep the library intact. All right. So
it's somehow in my dining room for now.
Somehow Moto giving me $5 is going to entice you to keep that together.
That's okay. Moto's a good guy. I'll listen to him.
I'm trying to get some. Keep going to there, Dave. I'm trying to get some folks interested here from the Instagram, and it's Instagram still doesn't let me post. It'd be so much. I'd already be done if I could just like post to Instagram from my web browser, but I don't seem to be able to do that. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I know you like to do physical builds. I have to take my headset off for a minute because the cord isn't that long. But let me go grab a physical build here, and we'll switch.
Yeah, let's do it.
But
let's do it. While you do that, I'm going to talk to some folks over here. Oh, Melissa, thank you so much. Melissa says superhero boon with $49.99 super
oh my
chat.
gosh, Melissa
Holy
again.
Smokes. Melissa,
Thanks
let
so
me
much.
tell you what, Melissa, I'll tell you daily. Melissa is engaging with content on Boon Builds. One of our biggest supporters here, one of our biggest fans here.
Sure.
So thank you so much, Melissa. You are awesome. You are always awesome, whether you give to the super chats or not. But $49 and 99 cents is incredible. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Melissa. I feel like I should have like a little song for like $49. I don't know what it is.
And 99 cents.
Yep, you got it. There we go. Good job, Dave. I didn't know we'd be singing together tonight.
I was in the choir when I was in high school. All right. So this is, if not the first, one of the first mocks I did that was not modeled off of anything else. I just kind of came up with it on my own. This was for a collab that Jason Bond, one of the guys in our lug, he leads an Old West collab every year at Bricks Cascade. Yeah. And I did some things, and I took inspiration from a few things, but this was my own design. A couple of fun things about this. When I was trying to come up with a name, I started doing searching on Old West sites, and I came across 4-barrel shotguns. And I thought, okay, so I'll call it a 4-barrel hotel. And I had gotten, after talking with Holly, I think it was Holly, I ended up getting a vinyl cutter. And that worked. Was it Holly? Who is it that did the Westworld? No, that wasn't Holly. That was Kat's sister.
Yeah.
I'm spacing out.
Yeah, it's totally. I completely have live stream brain. It's,
yeah, me too. Perry, help us out.
Holly and
not Holly, Kat's sister.
Yeah. What's her last name?
Kelly Beck. That's it.
Kelly.
Perry. Thank you, Perry. Anyway, she had gotten a vinyl cutter, and I talked to her at the lug, and I ended up getting one. But as I decided to call it the 4-barrel hotel, and I realized, well, it has to have 4 barrels. So I put 4 barrels on there.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, Dave.
And that worked well with the spacing of everything.
Yeah. What about the inside? Does it have an inside?
Not much. I don't really get a lot of enjoyment out of doing interiors. Let me see. Did I put anything in here? Nope. Nothing. It does come apart, but there's no interior on this one.
Yeah. So you're really like kind of putting the emphasis on displaying. You want to put a lot of energy into what people are going to see as they're walking by, and that's what's fun for you.
Well, yeah, and I also realized just recently, I finally realized that I could put a lot of interiors in, but if the only place I'm going to show these is at Bricks Cascade, where people can't open them anyway, because they're behind a stanchion, then, and if I don't enjoy doing it, then I should do what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: you definitely you're pretty focused on architecture.
Yep.
That's true? How do you think you found yourself as like an architecture builder?
I think honestly, it started because they were relatively easy builds. They didn't necessarily have to have a lot of greebling, and I'm trying to work at getting a lot better at that.
Sure.
But I think that may be why. And I don't know. I've never liked really ornate styles. Although as I get better, I might see it as a challenge to figure out, well, how would I portray that in Lego? But I love modern. I'm working on a number of different modern things at the moment. So again, lots of glass, big open ceilings, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Unlike a lot of people like Moto, I wouldn't say I'm jealous, but it's really cool with Moto having a design degree and experience. I really struggle with things like, what should my color scheme be? And then how do I make this look nicer with greebling? And I'm getting better, but it's taking me longer than I would like.
Yeah.
But buildings are some buildings can be pretty easy to do.
Okay, cool. What
All
else
right,
you
so
got there?
now
You got a lot of
I
other
got-
things there.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Got to switch again.
Jeff, oh yeah. Brick Corey says quintessential Old West, of course. Yeah, I love just the 4-barrel. That's hilarious. It's like a pun. And then Jeff McElwee says, Dave, buildings are fun and all, but where's the money shot? Where's the space? And then Cody says, space. Dave,
just like, go ahead.
Dave, we have some people in the live chat are wanting to see you build for space. So can you build space architecture in the future?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I did just buy some pieces, which I don't have yet, from Bricks and Pieces that might work well for that. I don't even know what they're. I think they're a new piece for this year, and I think they might be from Friends, but they're these like probably 4x4 round trans light blue tubes, and there's straight sections and there's corner sections. And I think it was like a slide in a water park for a Friends set. And I thought those look really cool. And so I could see those being like a walkway between two modules of a space station or something.
Yeah, so it's a 4x4.
I think that's what it is.
Tube.
And I think it's new for this year.
Let's see if I can come up with anything here. Oh, is it the let's see. I'm gonna share my screen here. Does it have studs on the bottom and studs on the top?
I believe so. I can actually give you the part number here in just a second.
Yeah, so look at this, everybody. This is gonna be cool. I'm gonna screen share. Wait. Chrome tab. I want Bricklink. Share.
Yeah, there we go.
So can you see that?
That's the one. And 49737 is the corner version.
Look at this. Isn't that crazy? It's like for building like a hamster. You know those hamster kind of mazes? Yep. Anyway.
But I could see that, you know, stringing a bunch of those together. I could see making that into, like I said, a walkway between a couple capsules.
Oh, yeah.
On some kind of a space assembly.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just had a Moto moment again. It was very minor, but picking this up, it slightly came apart. But it wasn't anything like what Moto happened. So this is another, I built a couple of houseboats last year, again, for a collab. In this case, it was one that James Ritzman did. He did a Port of Brickport collab. And these, again, were designs that I took inspiration from some things, but they were just my own design. This one has a little bit of an interior in it, but one of the things I like is the little whale, whatever that is.
Yeah. Little decoration.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, a seaside, waterside decoration for the floating house there.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, yep. And then I have another one, but getting it over here might be a little bit tricky. I'm running out of space. I'm going to have to make more room again.
Perry said, things coming apart when you pick them up equals Moto
moment. Yep.
Yeah.
And Moto says a Moto moment equals wrecking a mock live. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unintentionally, right? Because I've seen the people who, you know, at the end of a Lego convention, like on Beyond the Brick, sometimes they'll get someone to just destroy their huge, incredible display.
Yep.
And I never know quite how I feel about that, but
yeah, I remember talking to one of the T-Falls at Bricks Cascade this year, and I asked him what he was going to do with the mock. I thought he was actually right next to the bunkers, and I said, "What are you going to do with it?" And he says, "I'm going to take it apart. I'm sick of seeing it." So that might be a more dramatic way to take it apart because you're sick of seeing it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. What do you think?
All right. I've got, I don't know if you want to cover something else. I still have some more stuff to go, but if you have anything else you want to cover.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So let's go back to the, actually I can show you the other houseboat. So this is the other houseboat that I did.
Yeah, that's cool.
And yeah, again, you can kind of get a sense for the design I like clean, lots of glass, that kind of stuff. Let's see, and I think I have, all right, so what do we have next? We saw that already. Yeah, this is fun, and I'm really glad Perry's in the chat. So this was so much fun. This was a collaborative build that our friend Perry was the brainchild for. He's also the theme coordinator for the post-apocalyptic theme at Bricks Cascade for I don't know how long. And he graciously invited me to run with this during Bricks Cascade 2020 because he was very busy with Ewok Adventureland and other things. He also had stuff over in Jurassic Park. He's a busy guy, and I had a great time. What did he call me? The something or other adjudicator. He gave me a formal official name, and I ended up doing a video with Beyond a Brick about it. That was so people want to see more of it. They really should go watch, because
it's an awesome video.
Perry and I had talked about this at dinner a few times before, and he was thinking, maybe we'll see 30 or 40, and we're thinking, well, how big will that be? Will that be enough? Because these are 16 by 16 by, I think, 11 bricks tall, something like that, maybe 13. And we were kind of thinking, well, how big will that be? We ended up with, I want to say 110 bunkers from like 40 different builders.
Yeah,
and
it's just crazy.
This one was especially.
Some of them are so unbelievably creative.
Like this one.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one didn't actually work because there were some mechanical issues, but still, it was like 7 wide and 3 tall indoor roller coaster. And then we did have a monorail that actually worked and went back and went around, which it wasn't here yet, but went around the Grant and Cruz Painted City mock.
Oh yeah,
so went right there. Anyway, for this collab, I did a few mocks. What did Perry say?
Dave the adjudicator.
Yep. So I did a few mocks. This is the first one I did, and again, you can get that kind of modern vibe that I like to go for. This was inspired by 2 things. Perry had a design guide that he published for the bunkers, and in there was I don't know what it was, but it looked like it could have been a superhero lair inside a big rock cavern, but it had a big like conference room that looked like it was suspended from the ceiling. And then at the same time, I was watching the TV show. Okay, I'm having streaming brain fade again.
Stream brain.
Yeah. Anyway, I was watching a TV show that had something in it similar to this. And so the suspended bedroom here kind of became one of the big pieces.
That's awesome. How do they get in there?
There is a stairs right here, and there's a door here that you can't see very well.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, and then we have an infinity pool, because I mean every luxury bunker needs an infinity pool.
Yep.
And then we have a full home theater with including surround speakers. You got the rear speakers here and on this wall, and you got the center channel speaker and a little subwoofer right there. And then doing the lighting was also a lot of fun. Eureka, that was the name of the show.
Eureka.
It's awesome. On. Yeah. So there's that one.
You were talking about the coaster before, and Ben said I finished the coaster the day before I brought it to the con. So
that was Ben's. That's right. That was kind of before I really knew him. I've gotten to know him a lot better now, but okay. And then this one I called Home is Where the Hearth Is.
This looks like a place I would want to live.
Well, funny enough, it was a place I did live. It was a house that my dad and I mean, the left side was taken from basically a house that my dad and I designed that I ended up living in for about 12 years. It was my dream house. Wow. Unfortunately, I don't know, I had mixed emotions, but I ended up selling it and moving elsewhere for various reasons. But I had a floor to ceiling fireplace in a room with an 18-foot tall ceiling.
Wow.
And so I kind of modeled this after that. And then I didn't know, what am I going to do with the rest? And so these don't really model anything I had, but I just thought that they fit really well. Yeah. And it's like, if I were a minifig, I'd want to live there.
Right. Yeah. I would totally live in either of these bunkers that you built, Dave. It's good stuff.
And then, yeah, I mean, the bunkers were fun because I've gotten a bit of a reputation for building large things. Anybody in the lug will laugh anytime I say, hey, it's a little bit big, and they'll go, yeah, that's you, Dave. These bunkers were great, although you'll notice this one was triple wide, this one was double wide,
right?
But they're pretty easy to build, and they don't take a lot of parts and a lot of time. So I ended up building a third one, and this one is one I called the Basics and a Bed. It's a bunker that every AFOL would want. So I got a better photo here in a minute. So it's got a build table.
Yeah.
With your own little pick-a-brick wall. And I had to represent Port Lug there. And then on this side, you can't really see it very well, but there's a TV. And my thought was, well, that's for watching YouTube tutorials and Beyond the Brick videos.
Yeah.
That's actually what I said to people. And then, yeah, oh, it's got a bed, for when you want to sleep. But when you want to do that, right, exactly.
And there's a ladder to get to the bed.
Yep.
There you go. There you go. Because all you got to do is get there.
Yep. So there's that. Now, if I can unearth it, I have another physical one I want to show you. Let me move this out of the way. Ugh. So there's a guy who I don't think I've actually met, but I don't know if he's in the lug, but he's in the AFOL, the Bricks Cascade AFOL group. I don't know if he's from here or Seattle. Nicholas Wood is his name. He might. Oh,
yeah, he lives. Yeah, he's in our lug. He lives out on the east side with me. Yeah. Okay,
so if I've met him, I'm going to be embarrassed. I don't remember meeting him, but he shortly after COVID started, he suggested, hey, maybe we want to do a collab, something that we can all work on pieces together at home, and then when things get better, we can put them all together into something. And so he went back and forth with people in Facebook, and they ended up coming up with a theme called Small Town Main Street.
Oh, man.
And each build is on a 16 by 16 plate, 1 or 2 stories high. He had a kind of a spec for the walkway in the front. And so I ended up building 3 of those. And this was heavily inspired. Let me see if I can, there we go. This was inspired by,
I'll make you full screen. There we go.
There we go. This was inspired by looking at, I'm not used to this being backwards, looking at a bunch of photos on the web of typical small town main streets to see what they look like. And I was also using it as a way to try and get myself to be better at greebling and texture for buildings. Cause like I said, that's been a hard thing for me. And a lot of them were just flat fronts. So I worked pretty hard on this, and they're all modular. Each one of these, I have to squeeze it together right now so they don't fall apart. I don't think I pinned them together. I should, but that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed, and I think it was actually Grant Davis. If you look at the building, the tan with the green on the top and the tan with the dark red on the top, those insets, especially the one with the dark green, were a technique that I originally saw Grant use in a number of different things, basically taking cheese slopes and stuffing them together. And it's a pretty tight fit for those tan and dark green ones, but it works and it looks really good.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love it. Ben Kahn said, do you have a treatment on those windows? They are shiny. What do you mean, Ben? Like coat them with like Pledge or what?
Yeah, Windex.
Windex?
I don't know.
And Jake Sadovich, vote of confidence from one of the best builders out there, Jake Sadovich. Very nice, Dave.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jake. Yeah, it's actually interesting because when I was kind of testing this to see yesterday to see how they would work on the camera, I noticed how reflective they were. But I tend to always buy, oh, thank you. Jeff McElwee says those facades are really spectacular. Thank you so much, Jeff. I almost always buy new parts, whether it's from Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces or the Lego Pick a Brick Wall or whatever. In the grand scheme of things, they're not that much more expensive, but especially for glass and tiles, I buy brand new. And so that may be why they're so shiny.
Awesome. Yeah, I tend to be somewhat indiscriminate about new versus old. A lot of times, if I'm building, I build a lot of Batmobiles. I've built a lot of like post-apocalyptic stuff with Mark. I build a lot of sci-fi stuff, and I don't tend to be bothered too much by having pieces that are a bit scuffed up, because almost any of those sort of genres or applications could be things that have been beat up a little bit. But I do, just the other day, I placed, I don't know, something like 18 Bricklink orders, and I started getting them all in a very short amount of time, and they were all almost completely brand new bricks. And I'm like looking at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to be so pretty. But anyway, so I'm not used to that.
That's an interesting point because, like, for example, for the original Star Wars movie, that was one of the first space movies where it looked like it was a used universe, and it actually worked really well.
Yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying. But again, I even if people can't tell from far away, I enjoy, it makes me happy to have new pieces. And I'm fortunate that I can afford it. And like I said, relatively speaking, they're usually a penny or two more on Bricklink than the used ones are. We have a couple of great comments. Jeff McElwee says, Dave Morgan, scholar, poet, and namesayer correctly.
Oh man, I have such a hard time when this thing, and namesayer correctly. Hey, I say it now. I've been Jeff. I've been saying your name correctly for many weeks. I'd say months.
I think the reason he made that comment is because I've been helping in other streams, like I don't even to help people to know how to say it.
Yeah.
And then Moto says, new parts, no scratches.
No scratches, not to be confused with nose scratches.
Exactly.
But Dave, you mentioned Star Wars, which brings me to this.
Ooh.
You got your hands on this one in the last 24 hours.
I did.
Or at least you got your bank account on this one.
Yeah,
it hasn't arrived yet, right?
And another one. Yeah, no, and again, the guy that I mentioned earlier, Bevan's Bricks, if you look up his channel, I think he's a really good guy, and go there and check him out. He's a really nice guy, and he does tutorials all the time. But he posts these little videos. He posted a couple of them yesterday about this one and the Wonder Woman set. And as soon as I saw him, I was actually up last night at 9 o'clock, which is midnight East Coast time, and I was able to snag this last night.
Yeah,
now it's gone.
I got it too. And I didn't know if I wanted it. And I didn't know if it was going to be limited. It was this. No, I saw someone say Star Wars Celebration, but it seems like, this came out right along with the Wonder Woman, and or not Wonder Woman. Was it Wonder Woman? What was the other one you said you got?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but it's kind of a classic Wonder Woman like comic book.
Right, from like the TV show, the Linda Carter era.
Right. So surely that would have been a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, right?
Right. I believe the Wonder Woman was SDCC, and I believe that this was a Star Wars Celebration thing. It's interesting though. If you go to starwars.com, they actually have a post about this, and this is apparently also available in Target. But on the starwars.com post, it says available exclusively at target.com.
That's interesting. Okay,
yeah, and that was only a week ago that post was put up.
I'm checking this out. I don't see. Yeah, this must have come and gone very quickly, because I don't see anything about Lego on StarWars.com. At least not readily available. But okay. Well, anyway, I'm excited to get my hands on this. I'm thinking about doing something interesting here on Bone Builds. I don't know. If anyone has any awesome ideas about what I should do with this, please let me know. I'm open to, I don't know. Maybe I'll open it and build it so that people can see it. But you can go to anyone's YouTube channel for that. Maybe I'll consider giving it away. I don't know.
I sent you a link.
So you have let's see, in the private chat.
Yeah.
Let me go here. There it is. We'll do this. I have an interesting story about the Wonder Woman as well. So we'll get to that in just a second. But I think, am I sharing this still? Yeah. Yep. So it's saying the moment that changed everything. Where does it talk about? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Go up a little bit right there. Go up just the text above the photo. There you go. Launching August 27 exclusively on target.com.
Yeah, that's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Now, is it still available on target.com?
I don't know. I haven't looked. That's a good question. And I was like you. I wasn't sure if I wanted it. I wasn't sure if I should pay the money, but I thought this is going to be limited. I'll go ahead and get it. In worst case, I'll sell it to somebody else.
Quantity. Yeah. So it looks like I don't see a add to cart button. So, it's a red card exclusive. So I would have to be logged in. I would have to be logged in as a red card to even see, I think, if it's still available or not.
Oh, Molly made a great comment. Molly said, "Master build with this and Wonder Woman."
Yeah, master build with this and Wonder Woman. Okay, what does that mean? Like take this and Wonder Woman and mash them up and see what we can build.
That's what it sounds like.
I didn't get Wonder Woman, and I kind of wish I had, because I'll tell you, this isn't something I talk about very often, but in the spring of 2019, I had applied for a Lego product design job, and I got far enough for the Lego design workshop. So they flew me over to Denmark. I was there with about 23 other people that were applying for it. I think probably 8 or 10 jobs were offered, after that weekend, and I'm not there, so I didn't get a job. But I know all of the people who got jobs from that workshop, and the guy who designed Wonder Woman is the first person that I know from that workshop who has said, like, this is my first set.
Nice.
So, it's, about a year and 3 months later, his first set is finally on the market. So that's just an interesting thing. His name's Carter Baldwin, and I'm pleased to have been able to spend that time with him there when we were at that workshop. But so it's interesting to think about, like, if that had become a reality, like, this would be the year that those things would be beginning. But anyway,
yep.
Instead, I was on Lego Masters, and now I'm live streaming on YouTube. So life is awesome.
Yep.
Lego-Matic said Boone Builds build an expansion to the set with more Cloud City. That's interesting because it actually is just that little scene. And I'll go back to it here. Just that little scene. This is called Bespin Duel. It is the moment when, spoiler alert, Vader breaks the news to Skywalker that he is his somewhat related. But it is almost, and granted, it's been a while since I built it and seen it, but it's almost identical to the antenna array walkway catwalk that is from the most recent Cloud City set.
Oh.
And I mean, I'm sure there's some differences, but it appears to be about the same size. I remember that, like, pitchfork thing at the bottom. They use the very same element. But anyway, Adam has been asking some questions in the stream, and I will say that we've got a Q&A time coming up very soon here on AFOL Spotlight Live. Let's get rid of this picture. Let's get back to Dave and me, and let's hide.
Ben and Perry both apparently just bought this on Target.com.
Oh, just now.
Yep, that's what they're saying on the stream.
All right. So it is still possible to get it. Like I said, I didn't feel like this was something I really needed. I felt like I did get a little bit caught up in the, like, this thing's available and who knows how long it's going to be available for. I felt a little bit better when I woke up this morning and it was already sold out on Lego.com.
Me too. Yep.
Because when I clicked buy, I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, I don't do anything with this and I make it a fun giveaway for the YouTube channel or something like that.
Right.
But and that would be, like, under the circumstances that they got to the point where the conventions were, closed, and maybe they just decide to make a thing that would have been very limited, produce as many of it as they want. But it seems like they kept it a fairly limited quantity because Lego.com sold out in, I think, probably 6 or 8 hours. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they didn't make any more than they would have for whatever the event was anyway.
That's how it seems. That's how it seems. And I think those, SDCC exclusives are often, like 5 or 10,000, which is very few compared to, major production runs of, the typical Lego sets. All right, cool. Dave,
right,
do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have a couple more mocks to show, and I was going to mention that I've been going in chronological order with these, so I feel like each one's getting a little better, and I've learned more.
Awesome.
All right, so the next one is one that I don't have built yet, and there's a little bit of a story leading up to it.
Oh.
This is there's a large Jurassic Park collab that started, I think, at Bricks Cascade 2019, the first year I went. Led by Davey Olson and James Ritzman. And I ended up helping out on the one in 2019, just helping set some things up and planting trees and things like that. And I had a blast. And I really wanted to build something for the collab well, no, let me back up. And then so for 2020, Perry did the Isla Nublar, can't talk, Nublar. And there was just a bunch of other really cool things. And I said, dang it, I got to build something. But I had no idea what I wanted to build. And then I ran into James in line recently at the local Lego store. We were both masked up and waiting for things. And I told him I really wanted to do this. And I didn't have ideas. And he said, do you know what the game Jurassic World Evolution is? And I said, no, because I don't play games. He said, well, go look that up. You might get some ideas. And sure enough, I did. So this is something that's a render. I haven't built it yet because, oh, I forgot about that one too. We'll go back to that in a minute. Oh, in fact, hold on. Let me see here. There we go. I haven't built this yet because I need a lot of parts, but this is something I got into the project support in our lug. And so there's it's funny because I kind of had the design in my mind before I even knew what was on the project support list. And let me zoom in here a little bit. All the sidewalls are 1x2 grill bricks.
Oh,
and there's like 1,500 of them in there.
What?
And I built a proof of concept before I ever ordered to make sure it was going to be stable enough. I built one section of the wall. And then the other thing that was on they were on the list in both light gray and sand blue. And the original model I was working on, these doors looked like they could have been sand blue, so I did that. Then I ended. This gives you an idea of scale. These are 6 wide. They're typical, whatever. I think 6 wide. So that gives you an idea of how big this is. I think this is about 6,000 pieces altogether. Wow. One of my favorite parts is this tower. I think that came out really nice. I didn't have any of these dark bluish gray, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called.
Those scaffold support kind of.
Yeah. I didn't have any. Yeah, I didn't have any of those, so I bought a bunch. But yeah, I think that came out really well. There's a bunch of parts in here I had to buy. It's funny because I tell people I'm on the accelerated AFOL program because I'm almost 61 and I only got into Lego, 2 years ago. So I buy a lot of parts. But even with all the parts that I have, there's just always stuff I have maybe 10 of. Or in the case of Jurassic Park, you've seen this stuff. A lot of what makes Jurassic Park fantastic, same thing with Ewok Adventureland, is foliage.
Right.
And like, for example, the sword leaf pieces, I had 0 of those in my collection. And some of the big palm leaves, I had like 10 of, and one tree needed 80. So there's going to be a whole bunch of foliage around here. I just don't have the parts yet. But that's an awesome looking building, Dave. Thank you. I'm really pleased with how it came out. The colors, I think the yellow really pops. It's funny, a little story that Perry will appreciate. I used a bunch of these little yellow railing pieces, and I had some of them on the ladders. Actually, it was the ladders that I got from Perry. So I had a bunch of these in my collection, and I thought, okay, that'll make a good ladder. It'll go with the rest of the color scheme. I got those from Perry at a lug meeting not too long ago when he had some spare parts that he had bought for another mock, and he didn't end up using them. And so I was almost going to go out and buy more, and then I texted him and said, do you have any more of those?
Yeah. I actually have some of those. It's just like the 1x2, right? With the little, like, it's got like 3 rungs on each one. Yep, so you have a bunch of them.
Yep, sort of you just stack them on top. I think they're like 1 2/3 tall or something like that.
Do you actually need more, or were you just kidding?
No, I mean, well, I thought I needed more, and Perry has more, but I think I'm good. I think it's because I was going to build 2 of these, and then I ended up building something else, which again, I don't play the game, but I think this is supposed to be like a shooting range to improve your accuracy. So you have a little targets down there and a little bench to stand on, and so because I built another one, and that one doesn't need a ladder, and this is like the armory where all the ammunition is stored. Yeah. I didn't end up needing more of those.
Awesome.
But that was fun. And then I got a couple more physical ones if you got time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, hold on.
We got all kinds of time. Rick Brickham says, I love the Jurassic Park build. Absolutely. Moto says there is a Q&A later on in the show for questions. We're getting close. We're probably, I'd say we're less than 10. What do you think, David? We 10 minutes away from Q&A?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Cool.
Ben Kahn says someone should make the Isla Fubar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that from the game?
I don't know. That's a good
Is
question.
it just a joke?
Oh, I see. It must have been related to the comment Jeff McElwee made. I've seen the Jurassic Park stuff on videos and pictures. Looks dope. One day I shall see it in person and possibly accidentally knock over a fence because I'm a klutz.
Yeah. There we go. Isla Fubar.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
So now the other two physical builds that I have, there's another guy. I think he's from Seattle, but he's in the lug and he's part of a big part of this collab is Ferg Pons. And he contributed most, if not all, of the vehicles in the collab this year. And he also came up with a concept for Main Street, which I think is also out of the game. And so he had, I don't know, 2 or 3 shops that he built before. And I ended up building a couple myself. So I did this one. This is a restaurant.
It's cool.
And it was also inspired by this part here, this tower there was something like it in the design guide that Ferg had for the buildings. So I took that component and the rest of it, I just kind of figured out what it wanted to look like on my own. And these, I will confess, I didn't come up with the idea myself, but I thought it was a cool little method for making chairs.
That's awesome.
In fact, there's one of the ladder pieces you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen that chair before, but it's great.
Yeah, it's using where'd it go? It's using a couple of the I don't even know what those are called, those little handles.
And it's all stud down. The entire chair is studs down.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's that. Okay, hold on just a second. Be right back.
Yeah, Moto put up, there's Dave's Flickr account. So you can check these out for yourself. And we're taking a look at just a couple of his Jurassic Park builds.
And this is one where I really wanted to do a corner building. And I had no idea how to do a corner building, but I had enough confidence now that's like, okay, I'm going to push myself and see what I can do. Oh, my tree. Part of my tree came apart. That's all right. Oh, it fell off. Here's where it is. So there's a number of things on here that were first for me. First time to use one of these 4x4x6 corner pieces for the door. This is a clothing store, so you can see. Let's see here. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So I got minifig torsos and head pieces on both sides.
This actually reminds me a lot of the store. You know, if you go to Universal Studios, you sort of go to the Jurassic Park area. There's like a store just outside of the Jurassic Park ride that still is sort of themed Jurassic Park, but it just has general Universal Studio stuff in it. But this building reminds me very much of that kind of thing, which is exactly what you're going for there. So
yes, I haven't seen that. So, and then I used some of these I don't even know what they're called. I think they're faceted plates, which I had never used before. So that was fun. Another thing that I did, I don't even know where I saw this. And this is the only thing in here that's not exactly Lego, but I really don't care. The insides of these are, let me back up. So there's a lot of electric fences in some of the other Jurassic Park builds, and James had found a supplier that's in a city right down near where we live that sells polyethylene tubing. And it's exactly the right size to fit through a hole in a Lego piece or into a snot brick. So I put those inside of here. And A, it keeps them together, and B, it allows you to bend them. So it's basically like Lego Flex Tube, I guess, but I can buy a 100-foot spool for like $10. And
oh my goodness,
they have a color that almost exactly matches dark bluish gray.
That's fantastic. I need some.
And then the other thing that I really struggle with is roofs. And I was talking to Ferg, and he kind of threw out an idea, and I don't know what he was thinking or if this is what he was thinking, but when he explained it, it's like, okay, I'll do that. So this is the first time I used hinge pieces to kind of figure out how to do that. And I think I did a pretty good job of hiding it all, so it looks like it's all nice and finished.
That looks awesome. Then, are those just like a 1x1 round bricks?
Yes, those came off the wall. I have, I don't know, 1,000 of those came off the wall from last year. The other thing, again, because I have light glass, is you can see there's a bunch of skylights in here.
Oh yeah,
it's 1x6x5 and 1x4x3 panels.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
Love it.
And this one I had to, full disclosure, Ferg was saying, love it. The only thing that would make it better is if you made the door trans clear. It would be more inviting. And I said, I can't do that. And the reason I can't do that is because let's see, where can I get these? The you know, where the clothing stuff is, they're wide enough that they encroach on the door on both sides.
So you don't actually.
So you would see them. If I were to open it up, you'd see them sticking in. So this is my way of solving that. It wasn't the ideal, but
I wonder if there's a trick you could play, like, I don't know, like make it transclear, but put something behind it, like a friend's mirror or something, like, I don't know.
I was kind of wondering the same thing. I was thinking, there's got to be a way I can do this, maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I love it. That's good.
And then I have two last things, and again, these are both CAD renders only, because they are, well, one of them I'm waiting for parts from this year's lug bulk, and this is the most ambitious project I've ever done. It's big for me. I think it's about 20,000 pieces at the moment. And this is another hotel. I don't know where I think I was looking for another big hotel to do in Grant. No, it wasn't Grant. Oh, was it Ken Stewart? Do you know who Ken Stewart is? He's a pastor up in Washington. He does trains.
Yeah. I was
talking to him. I was in line with him at the Lego store, and he says, just here's what I do. And he gets out his phone. He types European hotels, and he goes to Google and looks up images. And so I found an image of this hotel. Oops. Oh, that's the other thing I didn't show you. I have physical builds of this too. This is also an emergency shelter for Jurassic Park. And here you can see some of the tubing I was talking about.
That reminds me actually a lot of the indoor Imperial bunker.
Yeah, you're about the third person who said that, and I hadn't even made the connection until somebody else said it. But it very much does.
I can see the differences, but it just reminds me of that kind of building.
Yeah, and after hearing this, like, well, now I want to make an indoor build. So you're talking about Star Wars. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
And then there's the backside. I really don't know what these are supposed to be. There's one over here and there's one over here, but that's the way they look in the game. And one thing that I've gotten really good at in modeling real buildings is I will get screenshots, make them as big as I can on my monitor, and actually measure the dimensions to get the relative dimensions to each other, and then say, okay, this part I know is going to be a door, so I know it's 4 studs wide. How many millimeters is that? I work in millimeters. And then I can just scale everything out from there. And then it becomes pretty darn accurate for the aspect ratio and to have everything look right.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great looking building.
Thank you. And then, doing foliage in Brickling Studio is a pain in the butt, but I really wanted to see what it would look like. So I threw some in there. The other thing is I had started making a Lego store for Main Street. And then I found out on Facebook that Ferg had already built one. And I'd made a sign. So Ferg said, yeah, build something else, but keep the sign. The sign looks really cool. Maybe we can use it for a billboard. So I built a billboard.
Awesome.
And I have that physically built now. I was missing one little piece out of my collection in white. So I had it in gray, but I just got the pieces in from Bricks and Pieces. And we saw those already. Okay. This is the big hotel.
Oh, man.
Still have to figure out what the roof's going to look like. It's going to be dark red. And I bought something like 4,000 2x2 dark red tiles on the wall last year to do that. I just have to figure out what the rest of it's going to look like. But
this is incredible. And I remember when you and I had lunch with Perry, like, I don't know, 6 months ago or a year ago or something like that. And I think you were working on this, right? Digitally. And we were talking about curves, and you were kind of trying to figure out how to make like some curves on those inside corners or something like that.
Oh yeah. You're talking about right. Yeah. Good memory. You're talking about right there.
Yeah.
And it's not ideal, but I ended up using, again, those faceted, or they're either 4x4. Maybe they're not faceted. Maybe they're just 4x4 cut corner pieces. So they're not curved, but they're close enough.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things in here I really liked. I had never seen these pieces before. I think they're 3x7 panels or flags.
Yeah, they're like the they used them in like Ninjago City, and they're used as like solar panels a lot.
Right.
Is that what they are?
But getting those, yeah, I know they were used in Ninjago City, but getting those in Translight Blue, they haven't been made for a long time, but I found a seller, I think it was not even in the US, that had a bunch of them still new. So I paid a little bit extra for those because I really liked the look, and that made a nice little overhang over the entry. And then go ahead.
You haven't actually started building this yet.
I built proof of concepts of several sections with the parts that I had. Like I've actually built all of one floor up to about here. And I built that little window section, and I built this, and I built that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I built this whole front wall, and they're sitting around taking up a lot of space in my studio at the moment. But I think there's like 925 1x2x3 windows in here that I ended up ordering from Lug Bulk.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll start to see those soon. I know some lugs have seen Lug Bulk. We haven't gotten ours yet. But, and then I'm going to tile all this off, and I'm going to do some more finish work here. But so that'll be kind of fun. Transporting that is going to be interesting, because that's where I've been looking to lug members for advice. For a large build like this, it's really difficult, at least I don't know how to do it, to break it apart onto base plate boundaries. So
right,
I'm going to make it modular so the floors come apart by putting tiles on the top of each wall. And I actually measured it. It'll fit in the car I have. In worst case, I can rent a truck. But I don't know how to otherwise break it down and still have it. I mean, you can use pins and stuff, but I don't know. What do you like for Ewok Adventureland? This is perfect. Was that all in like small modular sections that you just bolted together on site?
It was in, well, let's see. Perry had built 8 48x48s, and I had built 4 48x48s. Mine, I didn't really build my 4 to transport separately, which is part of the reason they all got broken.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
On the way there, because I had built them sort of all as one unit, but they were very tall. And so Perry had done a little bit better job than I did designing them to be separated. And he actually had a great system where he had like boxes where he could get 2 or 3, different layers of his 48x48s into one box. So yes and no. And then, the thing that Richard and Flynn built was just designed to go at the very top of it all.
Right.
But
yeah, Perry showed me some of his boxes, but so far I've just done the plywood thing. They're not big enough. Like James had a beachfront apparently a few years ago before I was involved, that he said he built it in his living room or dining room and didn't think about how to move it. And he ended up having to put it on like a 4x8 sheet of plywood.
Right. Yeah.
To carry it. So I've done that, but with smaller pieces. And
Cody is going somewhere.
Yeah, he's got to go for the night.
All right. Thank you so much, Cody. You're always a wonderful supporter.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Appreciate and Moto says transportation. He's going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
And bigger boat. And Jeff McElwee says, "Yeah, how the heck did you do that, Dave?" I don't know exactly what he means. I mean, so I looked it up on Google, found images, and it's a very popular hotel. So and it's also Google Earth. If you're doing building design, Google Earth is a godsend.
What hotel is it, Dave?
That is the Hotel Marseille Du. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, in France. And there's very good coverage of that in Google Street View, and lots and lots of photos in Google Images online. Actually, hey, I think there's even a Wikipedia page for it. Marseille.
Images.
All right. There we go.
It's
Oh, it's not in. Oh, International Marseille Hotel Du. Okay, there it is. So let me send you a link. Oops, real quick.
Send me the link and we'll show it to everyone.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Or you can just put it up on. It's up to you.
I'll send it to you because that'll be easier than what I'm trying to do right now. Okay, there you go.
There we go. Bum, bum, bum. I was totally spelling it wrong. I was thinking it was like LLE.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right because I don't speak French, but I think I am.
Sure. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. All right, we'll do this.
Yeah, that first photo that's in there, was a great reference shot. And then I got a ton more. I was able to actually get Street View stuff right up into the front entry area. They drove through there, so I was able to. Yeah, most of the rest of the photos in this particular article, that one's not too bad. But yeah, you can get up in there, right up close. There's actually shots from in the hotel at various different stories looking down. So I was able to get shots from all different, not in here, not in this article,
Oh,
but in Google Street View, and also just doing image searches. But
cool.
so that's how I did it, Jeff. Just kind of, and again, like I said, I maximized this on my monitor and then just started measuring different sections. Because, like, for example, if you look at the windows on the right-hand section, the dimensions in there are, you can't really closely match that with Lego. So I got as close as I could, but knowing what size I could do in Lego, I then tried to match that here and then just kind of measure the relative dimensions and get it as close as I could.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I love it.
And then I think I have one more. This is actually kind of interesting. This is, I built 2 houseboats last year. I was telling James, by the way, he does really cool collabs. I've had so much fun doing the houseboats and doing Jurassic Park and doing, what else did I do for him? Anyway, I found a amazing houseboat. It's actually here in Portland, right down near us. And it's for sale. It's a bargain at $1.7 million.
Wow.
And let me see if I can go grab the image of it first. Well, here, I'll show. So it's not done yet. I'm still working on the CAD design, but that is the shell of it. And let me go, while you're looking at that, I'm going to see if I can go find the photo of the real thing.
It's beautiful.
It's like 3,600 square feet. It's crazy.
Some of your stuff reminds me a little bit of, okay, Jake Sadovich, are you still in the chat? Because got this buddy from Boise who builds just these giant, unbelievable, kind of like modern architecture stuff. And Stream Brain, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but Jake, if you're listening, tell us what's that guy go by on the internet? Because his stuff is really beautiful. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
I think the easiest way to share this is going to be just to do this. So that's what the real houseboat looks like.
Oh my gosh.
And it turns out there's like 20 or 30 photos and a video tour, because this is actually for sale right now in Portland. So I was able to get all kinds of angles, and
wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's a beautiful house.
Yes, exactly. I'd love to live there.
You did a great job.
Thank you. So let me go back. Yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I still have to work on the back side and finish a few more things, but there's actually a fireplace. You can't really see it from this angle, but there's a fireplace in here because the real one has one on the deck. I guess you can't see my mouse cursor, but over here. There we go. There's a fireplace back in here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was talking about Matt Lincoln. So Jake Sadovich said Matt Lincoln, and he goes by Boise Brick on the interwebs, and he just has he's got some really incredible architecture, and I'd say that his building style is different to yours, Dave. But the reason I thought of him is because I feel like the architectural styles that you like to emulate are similar. And he just, man, he had this beach house that was just incredible with just all these crazy little details. But
interesting. I'll have to go check that out.
But Jeff says, man, Dave, you got the touch. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
This is beautiful. Speaking
of which, there was one more thing I realized in the album that I skipped past. Speaking of beach houses, I made a beach house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was my first attempt at trying to do more with water, and this is where I ended up. That's right, because I mentioned this is where I ended. Oh, I got to go back to this one. This is where I ended up using those sloped window pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of started. I mean, I had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like anyway, and then Lego had this. I don't remember if this was a gift with purchase or if I bought it. It was like $13 maybe, but it's a Lego beach buggy.
Where did you get those sloped windows? Those are kind of old, right? Aren't those?
Yeah, they stopped making them a couple of years ago, but somebody had a ton of them on Bricklink. I think I bought like 40 of them, and they weren't that expensive.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing that helped was I ended up buying the beach fun. I forget what it's called. Party pack beach party people pack or something like that. And it had a bunch of
beach party people pack.
Yeah, that's it. And so that's where this came from.
Because Lego has such interesting names for their products.
and I saw these dolphins at a Peter Pan build that it's basing on his name. Anyway, one of the other local guys had some dolphins. I had never seen those before. It's like, I got to get me some of those.
Awesome.
So
I love it.
So that is all I have for show and tell.
Cool.
So should we do some Q&A?
I think that means it's Q&A time, everybody. Queue up those Q's and we'll give you some A's.
Oh, Molly has a question. She says, did I miss it? What program do you use, Dave? Oh.
It's fine. We got to let everyone know that Q&A is officially starting.
AFOL Q&A. There we go.
Hey, there you go. You did it. Good job, Dave. Hold on. I got to make this thing go away. There we go. All right.
And so Perry answered the question for me.
Molly says, what program did you use, Dave?
And the answer is Bricklink Studio. I've used CAD for various different hobbies and stuff over the years, and so I'm pretty comfortable using it. I've done it for woodworking and 3D printing projects, and so I actually quite like it. It's interesting because initially I was building all that way because I didn't have very many parts and I didn't know what I was doing. But as I've gotten better, I've learned that, and it's interesting. Some people like Holly, I believe, does everything in Studio, and other people don't use it at all. But there are certain things that, because I still don't have a lot of experience yet, I don't always know how the parts go together. And I find that I can get my head around it quicker if I can physically play with them than trying to mess with them in CAD. Because sometimes getting them in weird angles and stuff is a pain.
Right. Yeah, I love both. But I use them differently. If I just want to like really experiment, or I just want to build, like, oh, I just want to build. I just want to like start with nothing and 4 hours later have something. Like, then of course what I go to is the physical bricks. But if I have an idea in my head and I have a very, and I want, I have a very specific goal for what that thing is supposed to look like, I'll do it digitally first. Just because then I'm not limited by, the parts I have. Are you laughing about somebody in the...
Well, yeah, Jeff McElwee just made another donation and asked an interesting question.
Here we go. $5. Thank you very much, Jeff. Jeff McElwee. He almost has his own theme song.
That's right.
Dave Areno, what project did you scrap or put to the side to one day tackle and haunts your dreams?
Well, that's actually interesting that you should ask that, because I was doing a video call with Perry not too long ago, and he saw that building, which I built for something else, and kind of decided, I'm not sure I want to use it for what I was originally going to use it for. And I was going to take it apart. And Perry said, no, don't take it apart. Reuse it for Jurassic Park. Like, put some damage in it or put foliage all growing over it. And it's like, okay, maybe I will. So there's one of them. That's another building. Let me bring it up a little closer real quick.
Yeah.
So that's something I did that, again, the one thing I like about this is actually all the interiors have floors, but this is a glass elevator that I built.
Yeah, cool.
I ended up having a bunch of those little 1x2x2 trans black panels. So I built that. So I might do something with that, but that's one that otherwise I'm not doing anything with at the moment.
Nice.
Oh,
love it.
Ben has a great question. You want to bring up Ben's question? I don't know what the answer is going to be. If I could be any Lego element. I was ready if somebody asked me if I could eat a Lego set, what would I eat? But if I could be any Lego element, which would I be? Wow. That's a really good question. I don't know.
If I could be... Go ahead.
I was going to maybe a hinge piece, because it means you're flexible and you can deal with all kinds of things. Is that meta? What were you going to say?
I was going to say a transparent light blue windshield, because then I just want to be transparent.
There you go.
No, I'd totally be like a Technic figure, because then I could like still pretty much move like every way. But
yep.
I don't know.
We got another good question from Luke Solorzano. I'm probably butchering that name.
That's fine. We're going to say Luke. Luke says, how long did it take you to build your first mock?
So yeah, that would be the Big White Hotel. The first go round took about 2 months. It's interesting because one of the things I've really embraced in Studio for those who use it is submodels. Do you use Studio, Boone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what submodels are for people who don't.
Right.
Basically, if you have repetitive sections, you can design them once in Studio, and then you can copy them as many times as you need. The nice thing about that is if you want to make a change, you only have to make it once, and the whole model gets updated. So all of those window treatments on each floor, I just made one section, and then I could try different designs in Studio. And the reason I say that's good is because most of the time building it the first time around was the design. Because it was modular, I was able to kind of do an assembly line and go really quick to actually build it. I was amazed. It only took me maybe like 3 or 4 days, a couple hours a day to actually build it. I was really surprised. And then I tore it all down and did it again. And that time it went a little faster because I knew what I wanted to do, but I'll probably spend another month and a half on the second go around.
Yeah. Mine, so when I started kind of like, of course, as a kid, I built my own designs all the time. And as an adult, it was sort of Lego ideas that got me back into being interested in Lego. And I've told the story a bunch of times, but I worked down the street from this place that had Guardian Games had a table that you could dig through and fill up a bag full of Lego and just pay for the size of the bag. And I would walk down there on my lunch breaks. And so I started building just this little collection of mostly like gray, like I wanted to build a robot. So I started like building, you know, light bluish gray, dark bluish gray, different little interesting trinkets and wheels and stuff. And so finally when I had enough and I felt like, okay, I'm going to try to build a robot. I just sat down one night and I built Conky, and he's about this tall, and he's Conky from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, I love it.
And I built it just in one sitting, one night. I don't know how long it took me. And then very shortly after that, I wanted to go to the Lug, and there was a monthly challenge, and it was like something about superheroes. And so I built a Batwing that was a combination of I used pieces from what do they call the 4 and Up? It's 4 and Up now, but it used to be called Juniors. It was a Juniors Bat Cave and Benny's spaceship. And I took those apart and I used them to build a Batwing. And I did that in one sitting. And so that really kind of like, you know, it was like when I was a kid and I would sit down with my Lego pieces. And, you know, as a kid, I didn't really have any projects that lasted a long time. Kind of had a city thing, but all of the different elements or anything that I would sit down to build, I would just sit down and build. And when I was done building that thing, I was done and I would move on to something else. And that's one of my favorite ways to build as an adult. And so, of course, I've had projects that take a very long time, but my first couple of projects, you know, sort of coming back to the Lego fandom as an adult, were just like, you know, maybe sitting down and building for 3, 4, or 5 hours and finishing something, you know. And I still love to build that way, and I do as often as I can.
Well, that's the other thing that's interesting because I enjoy doing CAD, but eventually I get tired. It's like I want to get my hands on some Lego. So sometimes if I'm not ready to build a mock yet, I'll go grab one of the sets off my backlog and build that.
Yeah, I saw someone, and I can't find their thing now, but it was Adam. Adam has asked, when will Lego Masters Season 2 come out? Unfortunately, I do not know. I believe there will be a Season 2, but all of TV has slowed way down from, you know, quarantine and COVID. So I don't think anybody knows for sure.
Okay, Ben has a great comment, and Perry has a fantastic question.
Here we go.
Ben says a hinge piece is a good one. Oh. What piece would I be? But look at Perry's question.
Yep. Okay. If you had to stand barefoot on any Lego set for 8 hours straight, which set would it be? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
you could just stand barefoot on any Lego set for 8 hours straight.
Wow.
Which set would it be? Can we do that sometime?
Yeah, we should try that. You mean Perry? I was initially thinking piece, like that'd be an easy answer. Set, That's not such an easy answer. What's a good set that has some flat parts on it?
Taj Mahal.
Yeah, that's actually.
I don't think it's flat. I think it's quite studded, but at least there are some large areas.
Yeah, although I'm not sure they would stand up under me for 8 hours.
Man, I can't think of one. That's awful.
Yeah. Perry is the king of questions like that.
Yeah. Perry's questions are great. So you can't think of one, Dave?
Not really. I'm looking around to get some ideas. Yeah, I don't know.
Something really, maybe the chess set. Can I kick the?
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Can I kick the chess pieces off of the chess set and just stand on the? Oh man,
I just actually took that apart recently. I bought that for parts, like when it was on sale for $40 last year, and I had just finally took it apart. But yeah, I think that'd be a good set.
Brick Bat Dad says the new Lego art sets.
Oh, Ben's out of here.
Jake Sadovich said Brick Bat Dad firecracker.
Ben's out of here. Thanks, Ben, for joining us. Have a good evening.
Ben, thank you so much for being here, buddy. Thank you for helping us moderate. Brick Bat Dad says Andy Warhol's Marilyn Monroe, all tiles flat, 8 hours easy.
Oh, that's true. Any of the mosaic sets would be easy.
Yeah,
because they're all flat.
I thought they were. What's the one? Iron Man. Iron Man is round plates. Right? It's like studs.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are tiles.
Actually, you're probably right. I haven't seen it personally. Just
well, I mean, if Ryan is saying that Marilyn Monroe is tiles, then I would believe that that's tiles. But
yeah.
Perry says Helicarrier or the Ideas Puzzle Labyrinth. Okay, yeah. There are studs in some tile. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess. Oh, look at that. Half are tiles, half are studs. So is that are they talking about Iron Man now?
Oh well, so Moto said the replacement base plates.
Oh yeah. in the package.
That's
like,
not
they're
set.
Still in the package. Yeah.
That's cheating.
Well, Dave, it is 7:32. I think it might be that time. What do you think?
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say to everyone, thank you so much for being here. Some of our favorites are still here. Brick Bat Dad, Perry Wang, Jeff McElwee, Jake Sadovich. You guys, Adam is still here. It is so much fun to have you all here with us. I want to tell you a little bit about next week. I've got a special week coming next week. Ooh. I'm still going to be here, and I packed the whole back of the van with hauls that I have been waiting to go through. And I don't usually make haul videos. And if you don't know what I mean, Lego haul videos are like when people get a bunch of stuff and then make a video going through that stuff or talking about that stuff. A lot of times it's when people go to the Lego store and like buy a bunch of sets, they call that a haul. That is not what any of mine are. All of mine are collections, collections. A guy just gave me his like childhood Lego loose brick. So I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a video next week of, just kind of going through that and see what treasures are in there. I have 3-gallon bags that are the last. It's the last group of Lego that I bought from a secondhand store before quarantine, and they have just been sitting in those bags. And I can't wait to go through there. There's some awesome stuff from the 90s, I can tell. So that's going to be a lot of fun. There's some other stuff that people have sent to me. So next week is going to be haul week. Lego haul week here on Boone Builds, and I will have hopefully an interesting Lego haul to share with you every day next week.
Are you still doing a spotlight next week?
We will do a spotlight next week. I was actually thinking about, I don't know that this is going to happen for sure, but I was actually thinking about inviting some of my past guests, because when I'm here, it's a little bit difficult for me to do the whole shebang, and to do that, to kind of prepare for this the way I have 2 weeks in a row, I might just want to do something different and special next week. So I was thinking about maybe next Thursday, if there are any of like the moderators and past guests from AFOL Spotlight Live, I think it would be fun to just have a group of people meet together. So like I said, almost all of those people are in the stream right now. So Moto, Perry, Holly, Ryan, if you guys are interested in joining me for sort of a AFOL spotlight retrospective, or we could call it just a hangout. We'll do that next Thursday.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
So I think that hopefully that would be a lot of fun, and we can make that happen. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to some of the Lego Masters contestants and see if any of them want to come back as well.
Perry says it's called a haul because it's a haul lot of Lego.
A whole lot of Lego. That's what we'll call it. Okay. Well, thank you all. I look forward to everything. Thank you so much, Dave, for being here with us.
Thanks so much, Boone. This has been great.
It was really a pleasure. Again, everyone, you can find Dave at his Flickr. At this, what did you say? This is a custom, a non-vanity. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, and you'll find my other hobby in there. There's a lot of photos of high-end custom flashlights.
Ooh, that sounds like a fun.
Yeah, some of them are pretty cool. And I also did the same thing. I think great minds think alike. I ended up what I showed you today was a custom Flickr album I made just for this show tonight.
Oh,
so it's all there too.
Nice, love it. Okay, hey, thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time, go build something amazing. This has been AFOL Spotlight Live.
Let's go! Time aboard this proverbial Winnebago. We're talking about the awesome fans of Lego. So build your mock and shift it into drive.